wave at the same time, but we can greet everybody here. We are into now Group B. This will be our first game of the day while EG are playing up against somebody else. We're going to look at 4FC going up against No Tidehunter. And James will forever stay with us no matter what happens. So 4FC versus No Tidehunter. Now this is a game where we're kind of looking at 4FC a lot closer than we are No Tidehunter. Like No Tidehunter, I think you'd agree with me, Gods. They're already a team that's proved themselves many, many times on the open stage in so many different competitions, and now 4FC, they're the guys that have to prove themselves here in this land.
Yeah, No Tidehunter, at the same time, they haven't. They proved it in the online tournaments, but this is their first major offline tournament, and we'll have to see how they do. Eternal Envy coming all the way for Canada. He's their captain, and they've got to basically translate these online wins into offline tournament results here at Dreamhack. Loda, obviously, one of the veterans of Dreamhack. He's been here since, 2001 or something. I don't know. The guy's about 35, and he is just ridiculously experienced at LAN tournaments.
Yeah. Well, so far, let's look at our draft, man, because we want to see how this one's going to unfold. Bounty Hunter as well as TA being banned out to start with, which means we haven't even had a Bat Rider today. Not on this live stream, and I think I actually checked out the drafts from before, and Bat Rider hasn't appeared just yet, always being banned or just being ignored. But Wisp being banned out, and Eternal Envy's got the choice, and he's one of those guys that, like we were just talking before about what Fly is able to do for Fnatic EU. Eternal Envy, he has really been drafting some very, very smart drafts. There goes our Bat Rider out, so we don't get to see him again, which I think a lot of people are actually quite happy about. But this opens up our pool. This opens up our pool pretty wide as well. Like TA is taken out, Bat Rider's taken out, the big overpowered solos. Bounty Hunter's taken out from the off lane, which means people have to look at different options. And Lone Druid being picked up.
Bulldog.
Yeah, kind of thought for a moment. I was leaning to that saying, yeah, off lane's being taken out. Lone Druid, different off lanes. Admiral Bulldog's signature hero.
Well, you're looking at heroes like Mag in the pool now for No Tidehunter, something which they've used a couple of times recently. Loda's been playing a bit of Faceless Void as a carry hero, so maybe they go for a different kind of carry hero. Sven for now, though. And this has really been the go-to hero as tanky initiators, carry heroes goes for some of these European teams.
The problem we're going to have, though, and this is something which we're talking about before in our earlier games, and Drastin and I were really going nuts on it. Sven, what makes him powerful? Ability to attack. What happens when you have a Lone Druid? You get entangled, be a BKB or not, and your Mag pick, which you were thinking about, is going to come up. So we're going double melee for No Tidehunter. Very, very tanky. Very, very tanky with their lineup. Extra movement speed you've got. You're already going to have, of course, the... I always want to say Impaled, it's not Skewer, for Mag. I don't know why, that's weird. I'm thinking of Blind all the time. But Mag, he's being up there for his Skewer ability. Sven, he's going to love it when Mag pulls everybody together. The only thing we're missing right now is an Enigma Black Hole to couple it all into one big happy ball of death.
That's what No Tidehunter need. They need that lockdown, otherwise they get kited around too much. You've got the Entangle from Lone Druid. They need heroes to back up the Sven to keep heroes in place so you can actually get those attacks off. Yep. And what 4FC want to do is they want to get heroes that can kite them around, keep heroes alive. Shadow Demon, perfect example. Whoever Sven's focusing on, you can use Disruption defensively. You can use Purge to go through BKB, and as that works as a nice semi-counter to Sven. And Rubik, another great hero. If you get a fast 4-star, he can sort of dominate that mid lane a bit. So 4FC are just going for these versatile mobile heroes which can't be easily focused down by these melee heroes. Sven Magnus is going to be very reliant on Mag to hit a big ultimate.
There's our Undying, another man who always finds himself being banned down, but No Tidehunter going to go pretty heavy on the strength right now. 3 strength heroes, Mag, Undying, and Sven. Makes for some fun lanes, but it does also mean that we're going to have to look at Undying going into a bit more of a support kind of role. That's if we don't see, like, I know you're watching the last game, and I think Na'Vi is the only team I've seen being really doing it, running Ars Arda Sven, support Sven.
Yeah,
which worked out pretty amazingly, but that's a lot of Ars Art and his timings. But Undying, Sven, and Mag, who do you really start to pick as your course, or do you say all 3?
Yeah, to me, to do all 3 as your cores is tough. You can run Undying as that off-lane solo, maybe put Magnus in the mid lane, but it's a very risky and weak laning stage, something which 4FC have the heroes to punish. Lone Druid, great in those 1v1 matchups. Not to mention Lone Druid, a nice hero to have against Undying, because you can tear through that Tombstone relatively quickly, especially once you have the maxed out Spirit Bear. So for No Tidehunter, they've really got to make sure they don't lose the laning stage too badly, which is something with these 3 melee heroes isn't going to be all that easy. Keep the light band out, keep it like the perfect hero to have with these low mana pool heroes like Undying, Sven, Magnus, not to mention the teamfight potential you're bringing out. And these bans from 4FC are just spot on for what they're seeing.
Yeah, it's really nicely done. And I love the fact that No Tidehunter lives up to their name, No Tidehunter. He is the 3rd man out. And this is 4FC. I kind of want to look a little bit closer as far as who's going to be playing what and in what scenarios for their lineup. Because for me, I'm looking at these bands coming out. We remove a Tide, we remove a Darkseer, we're removing out teamfight controllers basically from no Tidehunter. But is this 4FC wanting that? Like, we got Shadow Demon, we're going to pull out ability. We've got Rubik, who's already a nice control ability, and then able to steal something else that manages to pop out. And then Lone Druid, who's normally hunting someone with his bear, but is a little bit fragile when you've got negative armor kind of heroes, or guys that are tanky enough and do enough damage they can kill off that bear and hold that bear in position, which between Mag, Sven, Undying, that's not really as much hold as, say, but it would be with an extra follow-up hero with some kind of stunner. It would be enough to make them worry a little bit, but Darkseer, Tidehunter, is it really all about just controlling teamfights or stopping the control of the teamfights for 4FC?
They need at least one hero for 4FC to actually give them a chance in a teamfight. Right now, none of these heroes really bring much to the table in a teamfight scenario, apart from maybe Rubik, who can steal something like Reverse Polarity or the Tombstone. 4FC need a hero like your Sankey, who can have the AoE stun. Even Epicenter aside, Sankey can be a great hero here for 4FC. Then you're looking at heroes like Enigma with a BKB Black Hole, which can maybe turn a fight around for 4FC, especially against melee heroes. Black Hole, much easier hit against these melee type heroes. And for 4FC, they need something which will give them a strong team fight, at least something to be more in the front lines. They've got the Lone Druid to tank things up, but how do they actually kill heroes, lock them down in place?
And Void would be the one to do that. He's the man who just loves locking things down in place, but not going to be available in this game. What was the other hero we have been looking at? I think Pugna's been trialed around with this, as far as trying to stop Sven.
Yep, Pugna, the decrypt can work here and there, but I think with the Shadow Demon, and maybe even a potential support coming out of the Rubik, one of those heroes who can go mid, can also be played as that secondary support. 4FC, less likely to go for another hero like a Pugna. They've already got two sort of squishiest intel heroes who aren't going to bring much to the team fights. They need to get a strong solo mid. It's not going to be the Rubik.
Stop talking.
Hey, Puppy, what's going on?
Puppy just coming to interrupt the entire
Wild Puppy
broadcast.
appears. But
all right, Gods is gone, man. Okay.
So
we beat him up, okay? So
Stop breathing in the microphone. Grab that away from him.
so yeah, those guys missed. Puppy just predicted the next 4 picks, which are going to be apparently exactly correct.
Yeah, definitely. Breathing, and a little bit more wind. It's going to be 4 Wilkins coming up as the last one. Nothing but tornadoes. It's going to be great. Love it. So 4FC, who are we going to have as they're going to pick up? They're really thinking about this one. They're not sure about it. You're 100% right, man. We've lost a lot of our team fight. We've lost a lot of our lockdown. Who can 4FC really turn to? Or do they say, can they even say we take this in late game? The possibility of just Mag and Sven being absolutely brutal against this 4FC lineup, it's pretty hard. So maybe just laning. Maybe that's all they have to focus on. Some very, very early laning. Maybe even let Lone Druid farm up a little bit more in the safer lane. They might be looking at that one. Let Rubik go the solo mid, and then maybe even aggressive try lane up against Sven on the top lane. Shadow Demon can combine with a whole bunch of other things, and Shadow Fiend. Oh, Draskell's going to be annoyed.
Yeah. He's been talking about this here for a long, long time, and it really is the laning stage where 4FC can come out on top. Lone Druid, they can send in the safe lane, even as a solo hero. 1v1 against the Magnus, he comes out on top. He is a fantastic time. No Titan, have to think carefully about who they send there. Shadow Fiend, not the strongest in the early game laning stage, but if you have a strong start with the Rubik, the Shadow Demon, Shadow Fiend comes into the mid game with a fast BKB and control those team fights very, very well.
Nature's Prophet coming in, which is normally Admiral Bulldog's hero. And this does lead me down the lines because Nature's Prophet going up against Shadow Demon and Rubik on the off lane, he's only going to get pool experience. It's the only thing you're able to do with that. And if Shadow Fiend rotates slightly, even Rubik and Shadow Demon, they're able to stop that basically pull. So that's not really an option for them, which does lead us down the lines now of no Tidehunter running Prophet on the high lane, and that's going to be in safe lane, Mag for the solo mid, and then Sven Undying +1 down the bottom, and Kunkka is the final pickup, which does give us support Rubik and Shadow Demon, but it gives us a classic combination. We've got no blinks, we've got no runaways, so Shadow Demon Disruption into the Torrent. Rubik can also team up as well, which is another stun to hold him in position. It's great control from 4FC, good burst damage as well through the Tidebringer and SF's Razors.
Yeah, this is a tri lane, and 4FC have run, not so much this exact tri lane, but they've run Kunkka quite a bit with the Shadow Demon, and this is a scary amount of control. Like you say, you're guaranteed to be hitting those torrents. You can maybe even go offensive tri lane with it. The one worry is the Undying support, one of those heroes you don't want to be trying to tri lane into because of how powerful the Decay as well as the Tombstone can be. But for 4FC, even if it's just an off-lane lone druid using the pool to get the XP there, get Kunkka free farm at the safe lane, this is very solid laning coming out from them. No Tidehunter have to be careful in the sort of early to mid-game stage that they don't just get walked all over by this aggression.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be their biggest concern. They know they're okay later in the game. They know they're definitely okay in the mid-game, but if they get screwed up in the early game, then it's going to go downhill very, 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 very fast. So they need one last hero, and is it going to be our support? Is it going to be the tri-lane? It's the support, so we are going to look at Undying, Leshrac, and Sven all combining up together for that aggressive tri-lane. Admiral Bulldog for the safe lane, and then Mag going to run that, more than likely, bottle build for the middle lane. Get that up as early as possible, because he's going to come a lot of damage from SF, but he can also deal a lot back. SF isn't really the strongest hero in the world, and Shockwave get it up a couple of levels. Even just by harassment, Mag could make a big opening for himself.
Yeah, I think Mag does okay against the Shadow Fiend. You've also got Skewer, which can always scare the Shadow Fiend off. If you get close to him, you can screw him back into your tower. There's a lot of ways that Mag could play this matchup so that he actually comes out on top. S4 picks up the Nature's Prophet, who normally does play that solo mid role for No Titan. We'll have to see if he's going to be going to the safe lane, maybe an Admiral Bulldog on the mid lane Magnus, or maybe it's just going to be a solo mid Nature's Prophet.
It could well be. It could well be, but that throws Mag onto the off lane for No Tidehunter. Leshrac Undying support for Sven goes to... it's possible. Yeah, Admiral Bulldog, he takes the Mag. So you're 100% correct, man. We're going to be looking at Nature's Prophet heading in towards that middle lane. Would be the assumptions based on what these players would normally do. But Loda, as always, going to be taking up that role as Sven. Give him farm, let him kill.
Yeah, Loda has been playing that carry role for some time, and he seems to be much more comfortable. Back with Zenith, he was playing that off-lane solo, but with this carry role, he's been playing so much better, much more in his comfort zone. And the results for No Tidehunter, they've been there. They've been performing well recently in these various online tournaments. The question is, can they do it here at the Dreamhack Dota 2 tournament? Can they do it against 4FC? As far as their group goes, this is going to be one of the mid-teams. This is not their easiest game, it's not their hardest game, it's a game they need to win. If they go down here and then they lose their match against EG, they're in a lot of trouble.
We're looking at level 1 Rosh.
Wow.
There's a smoke to give it to them. I think 4FC are about to attempt a level 1 Roshan.
4FC from the Radiant side.
Yeah, we're looking at Ring of Basilius up on Kunkka. I reckon the Lone Druid to tank it, smoke to get in very, very quickly, and there is a crap ton of consumables up on these guys.
Yeah, the one thing, the fast Bassering is just something you wouldn't normally expect.
Yeah. I think we're looking at extra armor and 4FC to snipe out that early Roshan, because they've picked it up so fast. Like, we've got 1 minute 23 left on the clock. They've picked these zones up so fast. There's the ready call, and we'll see if No Tidehunter are going to even surge for it, because Mag is going to be the one heading towards the bottom lane, and he's not going to be one of those guys really searching around. Wow. Admiral Bulldog. Okay, so there's our switch around. It's Prophet now, Admiral Bulldog.
Okay. That's much more what we're expecting from this No Tidehunter team. And it's like you say, smoke directly towards the Roshan pit, something you'd never expect a team on the Radiant side to do. And the best of 1 group stage is brutal, and this is the kind of surprising strat you can pull out against a team to try get a win against a team you normally wouldn't be able to come out on top of. And I don't think there's no reason for No Tidehunter to scout this out.
They're going to the side. They're looking to control up the jungle, and even if they pass by this pit, they probably will do so, but they're not going to walk in. It's not something you look at. There's the start. Yeah, we're going for it. We are going for it. Kunkka will tank up the first little hits. I don't think he's really mean to tank up this much, but he's in there. Oh man, that's dangerous if he goes down.
If No Tidehunter scout this out, that is just some of the best map awareness, just theory crafting I've ever seen. There's no way they should expect this or scout this out. There's a Radiant ward to spot things if they come in, but I really don't think No Tidehunter will go in. They're nearby. They may just try to check it out for safety, but that'd be a huge surprise.
No, 4FC, they walk straight past it. 4FC are going to take this.
And 4FC see him there. Like, they have that ward. They know if they're going to be coming into the pit, but no, they take it safe. Roshan goes to 4FC before the creep spawn.
Oh, Krelly. Dropping very, very low, but Kunkka will take the Agassi model, and then all the pings come out. If they get lucky, they'll pick up the Lone Druid on the way out. And here comes Envy. In fact, he will do so. He gets the first blow with a decay, then the Leshrac follow-up stun. Sven's done as well. There's a trial lane of No Tidehunter going up against Strangby, and he's going to take a fall in a moment. Eternal Envy, one last right click. SF's able to pick him up, and the Agassi model will go. Rubik's on a really low life. Then he gets Leshrac stumped down. Over to Strangby. Now he's going to get picked up. Wonderful torrent. 3 caught under it. Then going to go with a bit of a right click out, but not going to be enough. And now Loda, clarity as fast as he can. He wants this extra stun just in case, and they're going to pick him up. Nice body block by S4. They get 1 kill out of that 4FC, when No Tidehunter basically got 5, but the Aegis the Immortal comes in.
Well, that did not go according to plan for No Tidehunter. Even with the ward there, they have offensive trialing, Aegis up as well, and 4FC just get punished for it. Lone Druid needed to salve up there. He didn't have one, but one of his teammates could have maybe got one for him, but 4FC get punished for that, and No Tidehunter with a fantastic start.
Yeah, and instantly trying to stick it to Kunkka on the bottom lane. No, he's got no support whatsoever. He's only got that one salve left, which he now does pop. And the support arrives back, but it was a Leshrac, like the Leshrac stun after this event's done, and Eternal Envy already able to get the decay out and getting it off on 2 heroes. Torrent straight after, Loda really picked up in the air, and this is that control that comes out from the tri-lane of 4FC. They drop down Loda very, very quickly.
And this is how the Roshan helps them, not so much for the goal or the Aegis, it's for the XP. These supports were level 2.5 when they came back after dying. That was just purely from the Roshan, and if No Tidehunter got to this lane without those 4FC got to this lane without those 4 deaths, they would be in a fantastic position to win this tri-lane versus tri-lane just because of the level advantage. They could just starve out No Tidehunter, prevent them from going in. And Loda, he's going to be careful because he's up against level 3 heroes here. Yep. 2 supports as well as Kunkka.
Yeah, it's looking at a huge amount of damage, and I'm wondering too if No Tidehunter, they can't abandon this. They're still going to be aggressive, but you're running double melee up against a melee who's already got the range with the Tidebringer, and then you've got double control from Rubik as well as from Shadow Demon, but they're able to give such range attacks, range harassments, remove off any kind of damage that's going to be flying out from No Tidehunter. The only chance that No Tidehunter's got is to catch some hero out of position.
Yeah,
that's the only chance they've got, but they're hugging the tower.
Yeah, 4FC just keeping this wave pulled back as much as possible. The problem is it's not going to be the easiest thing to do with the Tidebringer. Unfortunately for Kunkka, it just naturally pushes out the lane where you wouldn't normally want to do that. For No Tidehunter, this mid lane is not going well for them either. Shadow Fiend with the early kill, with the early levels, he's managed to get a good time farming away at this mid lane against the Mag.
Yeah, and he's also managed to get that first 2-minute rune, so regen rune already up the sleeves for Shadow Fiend. So easy harassment up against S4, doesn't get the rune control, which normally he should be able to control as well. You've got the skewer, you've got that ability to run down if you're going to see something you really, really want. So you've got that quick charge where SF doesn't have anything like that, but SF already with max souls up, he would have more than that if he had the extra level, but he put 3 points in raises and using the nicely buffed presence of the Dark Lord, because SF getting a big rework of late.
Yeah, the one downside being in this mid lane is he did get that 1 point in aura, but either way, it is going to put sort of pressure S4 out of the lane as much as possible, and that level advantage, he's got a full level on top of the Mag purely from the Roshan, really helping him out. No Tidehunter. This bottom lane, it's going a bit better for them. They pull the wave back, they're denying it as much as possible, and with this wave pulled back to their own tower, it makes it really hard for 4FC. 4FC can't use that pull camp because it has been blocked. Yep.
As with one of the wards, I like to class as the bamboo ward. It's just off to the side. One of those walls you don't always search for, but you're able to just swing around a little bit. Wow, is Loda feeling that? He's just trying to give something to Envy, so he's able to get the decay off. That's the only thing he's attempting to do right now, and Shadow Demon still looking for that opening. He wants that opening so then they can just chain up to something else, but they keep on getting decayed. And while this keeps on happening, they don't want to 100% take a fight, because if they do, then it's very, very easy for No Tidehunter to turn around, they get one stun, and the hero is going to drop.
Yeah, and Eternal Envy is positioning himself so if they want to go in, they have to go on him. Loda's farming at the creep wave, Eternal Envy kind of poking himself further ahead. He's really tanky with these decay, with the strength steal. Sitting on 800 HP now, it was on 950 before. They don't want to go on him, they want to try find an opening to go on the Sven like we saw earlier. But Loda, he's just being well positioned for the most part.
A little bit lucky for Curly on the top lane, gets an entangled Admiral Bulldog. I thought he might have been lucky enough to get a secondary one, because if he did, that would have been the death of Bulldog. But hello, Envy. Hello, Envy. Is he really going to go in behind 3? He gets 3 on the decay, but then Catcher, as well as nice little disruption. Sven stun will fly down. Shadow Demon's in a lot of trouble. Envy picked up, thrown back down again. That follow-up stun really stopped Admiral Bulldog as well as Loda. Bulldog who TP'd in towards this to be part of the engagement. And will now have to just TP himself back out again.
That's, I mean, not the worst loss for 4FC. They forced Nature's Prophet to TP in. They
forced a lot of mana Torrent! Amazing Torrent!
Wow.
And that's going to hurt Admiral Bulldog more than he knows.
Hurt Admiral Bulldog and help this Lone Druid so much. Lone Druid just getting free farm, uncontested top lane. Shadow Fiend at mid lane as well. These 2 heroes leading the farm right now. So for No Tidehunter, even though they get a kill at the bottom lane, it's just on one of the support heroes, and it's not really winning them this lane clearly. Sven doesn't have a huge amount of farm, but just 8 creep kills for Loda. He's really struggled at this bottom lane. So that Nature's Prophet gank doesn't even really give much to No Tidehunter.
No. The TP down there wasn't even required. Like, they would have taken it anyway, and now Admiral Bulldog is given so much time over, and not just that, it's forcing the fortification out, because Krilli's like, well, okay, I got myself a level 3 bear, sitting at level 6, no opposition, why don't I just do some damage towards the tower? I can resummon my bear in a moment, and Bulldog, he has been adding any kind of pressure towards it. You're right, mid lane, knows, there's your Sprout, there's your gank now coming up from Bulldog, Sven follow-up stun, and Mag's able to bring him down. And that's the first real good thing that's gone No Tidehunter's way. And I'm saying that when they're 2-6.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but once again, No Tidehunter are forced to bring a lot of heroes there. They make sure they have enough to get the kill. They TP and Sven. That's their farming trail in Sven, abandoning the bottom lane, realizing that he can set up a kill at mid lane, the kill that they need on this Shadow Fiend. Eternal Envy goes top, so really right now No Tidehunter realize these lanes aren't working. Sure they're heading kills, but farm-wise they are struggling. It's the top lane, the two solos, the two important heroes of 4FC, just having all the farm they need. Kunkka, it doesn't really matter if you give Kunkka farm, he just needs the XP, he just wants those levels.
Yep. So once those levels come in, because we're kind of going to remember that like so many heroes we're looking at 4FC, they got reworked. Kunkka's ship also reworked. The cooldown that thing is so damn low. You can throw a boat out every minute or so once you hit the high levels. Yeah, cooldown down to 40 seconds, in fact. 1 minute from the first level. Every 40 seconds, you might even get 2 boats off during a team fight. Yeah. And with so many strength heroes from No Tidehunter, wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, it's ridiculously fast. Here we go. No Tidehunter now rotating back towards the middle lane. With this mag invis, they may be looking to set up a kill on someone if possible. It looks, and in this bottom lane, it's been all but abandoned lately. Yeah. Loda's still struggling to get the farm. You mentioned he's a player who just loves to just farm away, play that carry role, but this game has just not been very friendly for him.
Yeah, this was a decision they had to make. They had to make it. Leave Loda, get a couple of levels up, and just pray that he doesn't die. Trust in Warcry to let them live through this. And S4, you can't find the opening. They cannot find the opening. 4FC realize they're all missing. In fact, they had their own wards down here on the bottom lane, watching the movements. With their own observer wards as well as sentry wards watching over that bottom rune, and then another ward in towards the middle lane. They know something's up, so all they got to do is just sit back a little bit further. We're still getting farm up on the top lane for the lone druid, and we're still seeing Kunkka going one-on-one up against Loda on the bottom lane. Both the same level, so no one's really got an advantage. And even if someone does come down, you've always got a Rubik up your sleeve. Yeah,
Rubik's there with the backup, but No Tidehunter, they bring both their supports back bottom, so they're going to resume this trail lane with the Lishrak as well as the Undying. And right now, 4FC just have the 2 heroes bottom, so Rubik going to maybe try pull the creep wave back using this pull camp, and they need to bring Shadow Demon back soon if they want to try contest this bottom lane.
Yeah, they definitely do. That they definitely do. Either that or they find somewhere else to gank up and just control that. As I'm just looking at S4, the poor guy in the middle lane, but he wants to skewer a little bit. Well, but didn't do it in the end. See about running up in that 8-minute room, and Illusion is going to be it. He's not going to run for it. He's still got creeps with him.
The good news is here for the Sven, despite not having the best start, you've got both the Empower from the Mag to help him catch up in terms of farm, and then you've got this huge Ancient stack here. Leshrik's been stacking these Ancients for him, so once we have some points in that cleave, Loda gets some levels, he can just take these out, flash farm it, and really just look to catch up, get that BKB or get whichever item out that he's going to be looking to get nice and fast. Not to mention the Empower from Mag will make that a lot easier later in the game.
Actually looking to see, like, what kind of build do we see out from Kunkka? Like, we've seen the older builds where we go for Shadow Blade, we get that Chrysalis nice and early on. We've already got Phase Boost, so it's a large chunk of damage that will be coming out from that. And then that big, fast crit damage. Is that enough? Is that really enough to get through Sven as well as Mag, or does he need more stability than that?
I think he needs to just go more survivability. This is a game where they've got damage coming out from both Shadow Fiend and Lone Druid. Kunkka needs to be more that frontline tank. Go for items like Vanguard, Drum of Endurance, BKB. He just needs to stay alive in these fights. And you mentioned the 40-second cooldown on his ultimate. If you stay alive, you can get it off a second time. If you're going into the front lines with the Shadow Blade, the crit, you're more likely to just do a bunch of damage and then die, but he wants to stay alive, get that second boat off.
Yeah. Admiral Bulldog still defending on that top lane, getting some nice levels up here, even though he spent so much time in that bottom lane by being involved in the mid gank as well, sitting up at the same level as Krilly. That's feeding a little bit too many of the trees there, but it was adding more of a bit of a buffer between them. But it's this middle lane when SF starts to rotate out. I want to watch Nose so damn closely to see what he's able to pick up. And it's going to be BKB to start with. Bottle's flying back out for him right now, but we're going to see a big BKB. Hello, bottom lane. We've already got ourselves the tombstone going off, and it should be the death of Rubik. He's stuck in the middle. Loda lets off one last stun, but he's taking out the entire tower the entire time. And Strangby now trying to TP out. Is there any stun? Is there anything to stop him? There's a strike stun. Managed to hit just in time from Aki. So 3 heroes going down the bottom lane. Sven takes a fall. Mag comes a little bit of damage in the middle lane from a couple of raises, but there should be tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. Actually, no points in Edict. Maybe they can't even take this out just yet.
Yeah, they're going to have to tank this up a bit. They've got this tower as long as no one comes in from 4FC soon. They're going to be looking to just burst this down as fast as possible before heroes come back to this bottom lane. And it looks like No Tidehunter will get this. No TP's coming in. And that's a win for them. Getting those kills, 3 kills at bottom lane, followed up by a T1 tower, just losing the Sven, still not the worst trade for him.
Yeah, but they lost the Mag in the middle lane. I commented before that the nice little burst damage came out from SF. Seems like Mag slightly overcommitted himself and was brought down. But we get free time for Lone Druid to farm up again. And now he's building up Hand of Midas.
Yeah, and the worry here is this Shadow Fiend is just farming away. He's up to 92 unit kills here, creep kills as well as some neutrals, and he's got an Invis Ring. He's going to have a very fast BKB, not to mention he's level 11. This is a level 2 ulti he could just unleash on this mag at mid lane.
Well, he's thinking about it. There's the disruption, and no wind-up. The catcher is there. 1 raise, 2 raise, and then S4 takes himself back out to his tower.
Surprised he didn't try and just unleash an ultimate there. Stand on top. That's pretty much a full damage level 2 ulti. Would have done a good 700-800 damage, but no Tidehunter. Magnus just not having a fun time at this mid lane. Even surviving these ganks, surviving these kills, he's really just being forced to play on the back foot.
Yeah. Just the worst role position for a mag to play. You want to get that Blink Dagger so early on. Without it, you just can't get yourself in that position for the best skewers. Seeing Smoke Deck now from Aki as well as Envy heading down. And Aerosol just managed to hide himself a little bit closer in and keeps his range away from Aki. Prophet looking to TP. First TP in the wrong position. Now second TP. Going to be in a good position for the Sprout. Gets it as well. Fable removes a large chunk of the damage, but then again, you got the Shrag stun. Boat going to fly into. Hits Aki. So a little bit of damage to him and then disruption. Catcher going to go on the edge of supports. Prophet going to bounce on through. Eternal Envy pops off his ultimate. Gets a lot of damage and there's the Razors coming in. Nose in from the side. 1 extra raise on the Admiral Bulldog. And look at those right click damage. Envy looking to TP out, but Kunkka brings him down, and he even tried to... No, he just torrented him down. And then 3 euros lost for the price of the Rubik. The shoe is on the other foot in that bottom lane now.
Yeah, really big pick up there for 4FC. And 4FC, they get those kills, they go back to farming. They can't pressure the towers as well as no Titan. They're not pushing out these lanes as much, but this is kind of the strength of their lineup, just to get these 2 carries, the Lone Druid, the Shadow Fiend, farm for the late game. Lone Druid's got this Midas up now, so he's going to accelerate his farm. He's going to also level up a lot faster, using those on those big neutrals here. And for no Titan, they've got some causes for concern. Their draft so far has just not had the best leveling and farming time. Sven has really been struggling in that bottom lane.
Oh, S4. 2 raises and 2 right clicks, and he loses 800 points of his life. This is the power of the SF. He's only got 2 points in presence of the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
Put that up another couple of points. Then once the BKB comes out, we're going to add that extra 24 damage from the Mithril Hammer on top of it already his plus 75 he's got right now.
Well,
which a lot of that's coming from the souls.
For this Shadow Fiend, BKB up in just a couple hundred gold, and then we're looking at 4FC being able to take pretty much any team fight they want if the Shadow Fiend's there. So for no Tidehunter, they got to play this carefully. They got to pick and choose their fights, and they've got such great setup for the Shadow Fiend. He doesn't need the Shadow Blade to initiate or the Blink Dagger. You've just got the Rubik, the Shadow Demon. You've got guaranteeing a torrent. There's going to be such great lockdown that Shadow Fiend can get off those high damage hit with the souls, with the minus armor coming out from the presence of the Dark Lord. That no Tidehunter are going to play very defensively and rely on these reverse polarities coming out of S4 to really give them a chance in the team fight.
Wondering also too what's going to happen once No Tidehunter starts losing their tier 1 towers. 4FC can start to force it. Like you look at the mid tier 1 town and just under 400 of its life. Top tower's been niggled a little bit, sitting just over 900, and the bottom tower won't take too long with the amount of pressure that's always been down there. But what happens when these towers go down? Presence of the Dark Lord, you've got a bear to tank up, or you've got a couple of people. Maybe we do see some damage items coming out. We see it is actually going to be Shadow Blade. It's going to be Shadow Blade from Kunkka, so we're going to see damage items coming out from him. What happens? Tier 1 towers go down. Ancient Stack becomes available as well to start to farm up. The ping's already coming out saying maybe we should be watching for this. And then Roshan. Yeah. All of this just starts to accumulate if no Tidehunter loses that front lane position. Yeah,
no Tidehunter cannot afford to lose a team fight or two here. It'll go very, very south for them fast. And with Kunkka going down,
TP bottom lane. We're going to have Warcry coming in looking for Kunkka. It's going to be Torrent, not going to get the job done. Torrent is just, yep, he's dead. Ship flies, last thing he can do. Flies on top of Loader. Actually, maybe it's enough. Sprouted up, and this damage is just not there. Turns around for 1 right click, but 1 Sprout holds him in place long enough for them to finish the job.
But once again, 4 heroes go just for 1 kill. It's a Kunkka, it's one of their farming heroes, but there's still 2 other carries elsewhere on the map. The Shadow Fiend farming at mid, you've got Lone Druid farming at top lane. He can now look to put some pressure on this top tier 1 tower with it being abandoned, with 4 heroes going towards the bottom lane. And well, it looks like no Tidehunter, they're ready to take this Ancient Stack, but they're going to have to commit a lot of heroes to it. They've got 3 heroes there at the moment. They're going to bring Sven as well. They've got their entire team doing this Ancient Stack, so it's not as if you've got 1 carry hero just doing it in a matter of seconds like a Luna, like the Sven with some big damage item with an Empower. This is going to be slightly less of a win for them than you'd expect.
Yeah, and it's going to cost him hard. Like, Loader's copying a lot of damage. He's forced back. S4, in fact, is going to die right now if he's not careful. Same with Loader. He's really, really low. Those dragons hurt like hell. Not to mention the golems on the front lines. Now Envy comes in the middle of it. Prophet's trying to come back and give another set of trees. And Loader, if they turn on him, luckily the trees are taking the aggro. And they're chaining this off pretty nicely. but they're living life on the edge, and they're going to lose their tier 1 tower on the top lane while all this is happening, which doesn't balance it out in my mind. Tier 1 tower's gone on the mid, tier 1 tower's gone on the top.
I agree. That was, I mean, not the most efficient use of their time for no Tidehunter. It's something they could have just done a lot later on. Sven could have, once he gets up a BKB, once he gets up some lifesteal, he can just solo that on his own. Maybe with the help of Mag, they can take it down with 2 heroes, but giving up those tier 1 towers, giving up the free farm to the lone druid who's getting close to a Radiance, well, the Relic first and the Radiance later on, but which will be like a maybe 18, 19-minute Relic. Shadow Fiend has his BKB and has 2k gold on top of that practically. This is a scary looking amount of farm on this 4FC side.
Yeah, what are we actually looking as far as advantage goes? And you can see it right now. We're going up 3k, going to go the way of 4FC as far as gold goes. Experience-wise, sitting at just over 2k. So it's pretty nice looking for 4FC. And I think no Tidehunter, but this is something which they have done in the past, and this is something which I know a lot of teams have been frustrated in. We've seen a lot of games in recent times. You got 13,000, you got 14,000 gold experience. Sven gets farm, then teams up. Mag gets himself a great ulti. Now Blink Dagger is up on Mag, so key time for S4. If they get one combo right, 4FC are dead.
Yeah, I think 4FC, at least so far, have been playing this the right way. They've had their farmers split up around the map. They're not going to give Magnus those big ultis. Maybe he can use his ultimate to get 2, maybe 3 kills, but there's always going to be a case where maybe 4FC lose a couple heroes, but they've got Shadow Fiend farming another lane. They've got Lone Druid farming somewhere else. Maybe they kill one of those heroes, but then you've got the Kunkka farming. There's always a trade-off with 4FC, which has been what's keeping them ahead in this game, because the kills have been going the way of no Tidehunter. From the start, from that first fight after the Roshan, no Tidehunter have been getting kill after kill, but 4FC have just been completely dominating in terms of farm.
Yeah. Wondering how long no Tidehunter's happy to let this go. Do we see them try and force another lane? They can push out. We've got Undying in their team. Why are we not seeing tier 1 towers being brought down? Undying and Latrak, just the two of them together can force almost anything, and then you got Sven to couple with him, and now he does have that BKB. So maybe now is go time. Yeah,
I think no Tidehunter have to go soon. 4FC knows just farmed a big neutral stack. He just got himself up to 2.7k gold. That's maybe just a straight Manta style. I don't think he needs that Blink Dagger with the disable they're packing, and
this is what they want.
Yeah, well, it looks like no Tidehunter want to go for Roshan, and if you're 4FC, you just say, okay, you can have it. They don't really need to contest this. What they should just be doing is getting farm on the side lanes, getting closer to that Radiance, pressuring some of these towers. Lone Druid can look to pressure this tier 2 top tower, and Kunkka should be at least getting close to pressuring this tier 1 bottom tower. Kunkka does have this Shadow Blade, so if he gets ganked, he has that sort of escape spell which he can use if there's no sentries or dust up on the map.
Yeah. Oh, but they need to add the pressure, and they don't know where no Tidehunter is. It could be Smoke Gank, it could be Roshan, but they will never be 100% sure.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be our second Roshan, and we're looking at 18 minutes into the game. It's nice, fast, instant smoke. Loda gets the Aegis the Immortal. I thought they might have given it to S4, considering Loda's already got the BKB.
And 4FC have to be expecting them to come bottom. They just finished off Roshan. Going bottom with this advantage of there's no Tidehunter was probably expected. There was a Sentry Ward there was no Observer Ward, so as far as no Tidehunter are concerned, this should be an expected kill. And they're going to find Rubik. Kunkka does have the Shadow Blade. Oh! Reverse Polarity only hits the Rubik. Kunkka should be able to get out here.
He's going to even follow up with a couple of Torrents, maybe trying to help out Rubik, and Kunkka's in the corner, trying to TP out. 1 second, 0 seconds, hits, and they just let it fly. Loda had a stun there to use. Yeah. Couldn't get it close enough to get it done.
They even put down the Sentry Ward, like looking for him there. They just figured they lost track of him, and it is going to be Lone Druid, Shadow Demon. They're just farming away at this top lane. Lone Druid is getting close. He's got his Relic up, 500 gold as well, so this is a fast Radiance coming out from him. Not to mention, Shadow Fiend's got his Blink Dagger, 1900 gold on top of this. I gotta say, no Tidehunter, like you say, they gotta go soon. They've got these BKBs, they've got pretty much their core items to start pushing down towers and taking fights. They need to be taking them now.
Yep. Before SF gets completely out of control. He's already, in my mind, well out of control. And S4, quick blink. And very, very smart quick blink there.
Out of control. This Shadow Fiend has almost 200 creep kills, and we're not even 20 minutes in.
Yep. This actually, do we dare say faster than Sylar?
I would say, as far as farm goes, this is probably one of the most farmed Shadow Fiends I've seen in a long, long time. Not just farm, he's got the levels. He's going to have a level 3 ultimate very soon. We're just 20 minutes in, and it's come down. Look at this. He's stacking Ancients. He's just getting stacks wherever he goes. His teammates stack normal neutrals for him. He's been just given all this free farm, and it's not just going to be him. Come late game, there's a Lone Druid as well.
Yep. And then the lane push happens, and then people get one entangle, and Nose will have the extra 2-3 seconds that he requires to just disintegrate your life points.
And the good news is he hasn't used his BKB charges. Sure, he rushed the BKB. He hasn't had to use it. He's going to have these. The later we go, having that 10-second BKB is going to be important for him. So he's avoiding fights. It's just there if he gets 3 or 4 men ganked. It's that sort of get out of jail free card, which he can just pop and then run away.
He might also be waiting for the fact he's about to hit level 16.
Yeah.
And when that hits, well, level 3 ultimate, 20 minutes in from an SF.
Anyone except this Sven is just going to crumble to that. Sven does have the BKB as well as an Aegis, but these other heroes are just going to have to run in fear.
Funny little scenario coming out right now. No Thunder going 4v1 on the bottom lane, and then 4FC going 4 up against the one Admiral Bulldog on the top. But Admiral Bulldog can join that bottom lane at a moment's notice, but the second he does, that tier 2 tower's gone. And he knows it.
Yeah, and it looks like Kunkka just trying to stall this bottom lane, just chucks Torrent, slows down this push, and no Titan are forced to back off at the bottom lane.
It's just not working for them. How do you push up against someone that can Torrent and just take out most of the creep wave, while you got so much pressure on the top lane, which Bulldog cannot hold? Or maybe, no, there's a lot of support that's going down towards the bottom lane. We've got a Rubik down here as well.
Undying's TP in top. We'll probably see a TP directly onto this tier 2 tower. There's your glyph. TP's going to come in, and no Titan. They want to contest this.
They're going to try it, man. Loader needs to get that war cry off, but it was on cooldown for the moment. He couldn't get it done, and now the bear is sitting right next to Krilly. Hasn't started attacking. First hit entangle on Admiral Bulldog. He's going to stay there. Nose pops the ultimate. Huge damage on Envy as well as Aki. He's trying to bring down Envy, but Loader with the BKB. He's able to stand his ground, and he finally Nose decides to attack one person. He's getting juked around. Oh, Bulldog. He was sitting on the edge of that death ulti.
It was ballsy coming out from the Shadow Fiend. The 2v4. And the Tombstone, those Undying zombies just slowed him down. He couldn't move anywhere.
So difficult to move but he had so many different choices. But someone was always just out of range.
That was the problem. He had almost too many choices. He popped the ultimate so that it hit everyone. He didn't decide a single target that he wanted to kill fast. He did end up getting the Undying, but at the end, there's a couple supports who live on low HP, and no Titan to walk away with 2 of them, the most important kills that they can get, Shadow Fiend as well as the Lone Druid.
That sets him back. Like, what was Lone Druid? Did he even finish up? No. Judging by his gold, I'd say he actually died before he finished up his Radiance. So he gets set back as well. And while Kunkka is just trying to farm up on that bottom lane, there's just nothing more really coming out for 4FC. And this is kind of what hurts him in my mind a little bit more than anything else. One, the fact that Krilly has no bear. He can't resummon it for another 30 seconds, so he's had to farm the old-fashioned way. But also for the fact that we look over at 4FC and go, they got some great momentum, but what happens now? Lone Druid goes down, the momentum really stalls a lot with him, and then SF, I suppose he buys the Yasha, so he's still finding his momentum, but he gave a lot back over to No Talent then, especially Sven.
Yeah, Sven is going to be, Mask of Madness, BKB up, he's going to look for probably some sort of damage item, maybe go for the crit next, and there's not a whole lot there's nothing really that locks him down in BKB form on the Radiant side. They haven't got the ability to stop him getting those right clicks off apart from Shadow Demon. Late game, if 4FC take this late game, the one hero who's going to be so crucial in these team fights is Shadow Demon. Get the Purge onto Sven, stop him just pelting away at these heroes, and then also the disruption. Whoever No Titan want to focus down, you've got to get those defensive disruptions on, otherwise there's not a chance in hell that 4FC can win a team fight.
Yep. Well, at this point 4FC, where are we going, Bulldog? No, he's just going to go up to farm. I thought we might be seeing some kind of aggression on that bottom lane before the tier 1 tower is brought down. West Strangby is still trying to push into it.
Well, 4FC, they're going to be looking for more damage of their own in the form of this Kunkka. He's already got up his Crystallis. He's looking at that fast Daedalus and just hope and pray on that Lothar's hit that you get the big crit, that you can just take down some of those support heroes really low right off the bat. And I mean, heroes like Leshrac, Undying, just sitting on a bit around less than 1k HP or Undying just above it. They'll go down fast to the DPS coming out of 4FC.
And Envy is really lucky he moved back just then. That bear was beaten down the tower. The Radiance is actually done up on that bear. And no one really wanted to come close, and we were seeing the Undying just losing a little bit too many of his life points, and if that Torrent hit, he would have been dead. And that would have been a tier 2 tower as well then. You lose one hero when you got already a push to set up and going, then yeah, you're right, Loader, already popping that BKB, bringing down the Rubik in 3 hits, and then moving on to the next one, but Nose comes in too, cranks up his ultimate, but BKB protects Loader again. It's the second time that's happened, but it doesn't protect him from the entangle. The Shrike Stun helps out a little bit, but now moving on to Eternal Envy. This Radiance burn still having its effect. Envy, low life, he burns down death. Lone Druid claims him, actually his Nose. In from the side, finally his ulti will pop out from himself when he dies. And then Aki, Strangby comes in, and Kunkka, right click, X mark spot. You get back over here now. Torrent flies in, and then right-click. He didn't even need to Torrent just then. And Bulldog hides himself inside the Sprout, but it's stolen! Sprout was stolen, which gives him the vision. Admiral Bulldog picking him up, throwing the other way. He needs to get in range for this Tidebringer, and there she goes, and the life is taken.
Wow, huge fight coming out from 4FC and killing the Sven. Sven had just lost his Aegis as well. The Roshan he'd had it for more than the 6 minutes, so no Tidehunter take a fight when they just lost the Aegis from Sven, and Sven was the one hero they needed to have the Aegis on. If he came back there, it's a completely different story. 4FC will be in a whole world of trouble, but 4FC, they come in, and it's great to see they're not entirely relying on the Shadow Fiend. As good a start as he had, they've got other ways to win a fight, even if he goes down fast. They have damage coming out from Lone Druid, and the Kunkka as well, really starting to have a big impact on these fights.
Seeing those pings coming out from no Tidehunter, it's again on Roshan. You got to remember he's going to spawn up in a couple of minutes. So we'll be seeing the next couple of minutes here from 4FC. Just try and prepare in my mind. Prepare for every single lane. That top lane must be pushing it. If that top lane pushes in, just leaving the Lone Druid bare up there, give it momentum. It forces one hero from no Tidehunter to go up towards that top lane, pulls him so far away from the Rosh pit. And you got 2 tier 2 towers you can go to, but maybe 4FC can take them out in the next 2 minutes as well.
Yeah, 4FC want to just push these lanes out as much as possible. Pretty much how they can control the Roshan pit. They need to get some more wards up as well. Try to get some in these lanes offensively at bottom as well as mid. Just give them whatever vision around the Roshan pit is possible. But it's no Tidehunter smoking up, looking for those pickoffs. Ooh. And it's a straight courier does get caught out here, but no Tidehunter. They're not finding the openings. They've smoked up towards top. But Kunkka catches onto the fact that something's up. He's already backed off all the way back to base.
You got to know when Loda's by himself pushing one lane, that support can't be too far away. And it is going to be the tier 1 tower going to go down. But no real contest. 4FC doesn't look like they want to be involved in it just yet.
Yeah, I think they see Loda having...
Oh, wait. Who's up here? Why is Strength here? Double TP coming in. These TP should be cancelled right now. There's still 5 heroes up here for no Tidehunter. First one's cancelled, but Krilly comes in. Krilly comes in, is then getting beaten down by Loda. Sprouted up, and Loda can't get closer to finish. There's disruption out from the Shadow Demon. Trying to save his life for a moment. Find the real one. There's the real one. Now they can go on him. Stun, and that'll be the death of the Lone Druid. Putting him now on cooldown. Blink on down by S4. Is it going to be? No, Skewers on cooldown, and now he's a little bit too far out. Trying to go on nose. Shadow Demon going to go down, and 4FC feeding one kill after the other on this top lane.
Oh man, that big mistake coming out from them. They were in a position where they were ahead, and then no Tidehunter just take a fight like that, get a couple easy kills, uncontested, 2 towers as well on top of it. They can look to keep on pushing, pressure these tier 3 towers if they want. They're going to maybe back off and just take Roshan, which is respawning in the next 30 seconds or so, and 4FC, bit of sloppy play at the top lane, teeping in, like you say, one cancels, the other still goes in, and Lone Druid just throws away his life.
Don't know why those weren't cancelled. And even like the first hero was in there. We were saying, like, tier 1 tower, you got Loda by himself. This should be pretty much telegraphed to you.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they said, well, maybe we can defend this, but it wasn't a full team decision. And this is one of those things that we were kind of talking about, experience when it comes to LAN events. Sometimes it's just miscommunication. You have a lot of noise around you, you can have another team screaming at you as well, and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I don't know. I can't hear my captain. He's not giving me instructions. And all of a sudden, you find yourself in the middle of a situation which you would never have been in if you weren't at LAN events. And it can unsettle some people. It really can. And as far as 4FC goes, I don't think they've actually got that much LAN experience.
If 4FC go on to lose this game, that series of plays there is going to be the turning moment. That's a sort of 6k gold swing, I believe. 3 towers as well as 3 hero kills going to no Tidehunter. And no Tidehunter suddenly in the position where they can control the map, they can control the Roshan pit, make sure they're the one getting the Aegis. Put that on Loda with the Daedalus, he's just going to rip through some of these Radiant heroes. They just do not have the lockdown to deal with him.
Yeah. This also still does mean that 4FC, they had a good start, which means they've still got some decent items on the way. I know we're seeing Lone Druid building up towards his Assault Cuirass. He's sending his bear out towards the top lane. Actually, no, he's sending it over towards the Rosh pit just to see what no Tidehunter are doing, but no one's in there right now. The bear can chill there for a while. But once the Assault Cuirass is up, then things change around even more during those team fights. They've got Blink, Manta Style, and BKB up on SF. It's not as though 4FC can't fight, that it's going to fight at the right times. And no Tidehunter look towards their key items. Sven, BKB, Mask of Madness is already starting off with the crit. Daedalus comes up, then they're in a lot of trouble. Blink, Drums, Arcades. Basically most of what S4 requires.
Oh yeah, and Loda easily taking down Roshan on his own. No Tidehunter going to find themselves possibly being contested in just a second here, but 4FC, do they have the damage?
There's that blink in with the BKB. Loader didn't get his ulti off, his BKB off in time. Eternal Envy really, really low, and big ship coming in over the top. Loader's already on a killing spree, but as 2 heroes gone, Mag's been forced to buy back. Gonna TP into the tier 2 tower so we can get there in time, but Loader being locked down and held in position. So another buyback, 2 buybacks. X-Mark spot pulling Bulldog nice and close in. He's able to get that last little hit in onto Strangby. Cruelly, 6 HP he's low on, and a quick blink up there from S4, managed to finish off the job, and now he looks also over to Rubik.
Well, no Tidehunter, a lot of buybacks, like you say. I think there were 3, maybe even 4 buybacks being exhausted there, and it does guarantee them this Roshan as 4FC. Their numbers depleted, their ultimates also used, are on the back foot here. They are still got a couple heroes near the Roshan pit, but they aren't able to fight this. Lone Druid doesn't have the resummon on his bear. If he loses this one, he hasn't got a second, but no Tidehunter, that's an expensive Roshan for them. They lose a fight, they use up a lot of buybacks for this, but it's worth it because they get the cheese as well as the Aegis.
Yeah. And that's the more important thing right now. Like, it's expensive, but cheese and Aegis, 3rd Roshan, 30 minutes in. It's everything you really want when you want to try and push into a base, and that's still the place they need to get.
Yeah, and especially when you've got Sven at this point where he's just about to peak. He's getting close to his Daedalus. He just needs to get that Demon Edge up, and then you're looking at going straight down, probably the mid lane, just with 5 heroes. Sven cannot be touched with an Aegis as well as the Daedalus, just going to be critting for an insane amount of damage. Chucking in power on top of that as well. No Tidehunter will be looking for a fantastic fight. For 4FC though, they've kind of got the items to at least negate that somewhat. We're going to see the Assault Crest up soon for the Lone Druid. You've got Shadow Fiend, who's getting nice and farmed. Same applies for the Kunkka. Kunkka has that Daedalus of his own very, very soon.
Smoke gang time for 4FC. They want to find an opening. They're already heading up towards the dire jungle. Not going to find anything up here. Prophet's Trees is the only thing they're going to find. Or they try and gank up Bulldog, who's there. But no Tidehunter, they want bottom lane. They're headed down here right now. So either 4FC, they sentry wood up, they're looking around, they're not spotted. Loop-de-loop, they'll have to take tier 2 tower. It's going to be tier 2 for tier 2 trade. Only way this is going to come out well for them.
Yeah, 4FC, they don't really want to clash right now. Not with the Aegis up on Loader. They want to just wait things out, get his BKB down to 5 seconds, really make it short before they try and team fight, because they need to basically kite him around, run away when he pops a BKB, and then as soon as it wears off, chain the disables on him, get the X-Torrent, get the Rubik Telekinesis, get those Shadow Demon disruptions coming through, and no Tidehunter just looking to go for basically potentially trading Raxus here, which I think favors 4FC slightly.
Just slightly, Ben, because of the bear, but no one from Rotunda to go TP out of this one. God Strength, there's actually one coming in from 4FC, and the ship going to fly over. It's going to slow him down, both Loader as well as Bulldog being hit by that. But the melee racks in the bottom lane goes down. Middle lane, it is going to be 4FC. They take melee, they're going to take range as well. And now we're going to pick up Rubik, looking for a little bit of hold in position for Mag. And now X-Mark spot, going to pull him back in again. Look for the timing for the torrent. Not really there. And then a quick run back out. S4's out to safety, but at the same time, top lane, it's the bear almost going down. 38 HP it's onto, and actually getting killed. They managed to get brought down, and Krill is going to resummon. Looks for maybe an entangle on Loader. He's really running it up this one. Look for one hit. Can't get it. He's out of range of Krilly. The movement speed is way too fast. Resummon again. There's the right paw swipe. Doesn't get it on the first one. Maybe on the second. Loader, another war cry. Another resummon. And Loader had to be very, very careful there. Manipulating the armlet, going down to 160 life points. And if Krilly was still in range, you got that entangle, he'd be dead.
End of the day, fantastic trade for 4FC. They trade Raxus. They didn't want a team fight. They don't have to. They're happy to trade Raxus if it means they're not having to fight into this Sven, who's just doing too much damage for them to handle. So 4FC, they find themselves in a trade-off which is going to favor them. This is going to take the game even later. They've got the superior late-game damage-dealing heroes. They haven't got the better crowd control, though.
Four stuff move. Got to have him from the Rubik, but it's a little bit late now on the pickup. Going to pull him back in again. Is there an X-Mark spot or something? Kunkka's got to get himself in range. Needs the vision now. He's too far low. There's the X-Mark spot. Got to go with the torrent. Daedalus is on this Kunkka. Shadowblade crit. Didn't get it on the swing. Now the mech charge is there. There's no extra stun. The bear looks for an entangle. Can't get the right swing in. 4FC really trying to come in as fast as they can. And Mag, really refresher orb already at 34 minutes.
Really fast refresher orb coming up from him. Has just got the arcane boots there to sustain the mana to actually use it multiple times in a team fight. But this is going to really run him thin. The refresher 375 mana, his ultimate 300 mana there. So we're going to need to see some kind of mana item as well on top of that. He's got the cheese for now. That's not going to be there as we go later on into the game, but the cheese is going to make sure he can have it that next big team fight. And that's really where I see No Tidehunter winning this game potentially. win one big team fight, then they can take the game. Then they can just go straight down middle, get Raxes. They can go straight down bottom, go straight for the throne. They have to win this next big team fight. Otherwise, 4FC buy more time to take it late, more time to get more big carry items up on Shadow Fiend. Lone Druid still with no Assault Caress, which is really hurting them, I think, and making it harder for them, restricting their ability to take no Tidehunter head on.
Yeah, he's basically the recipe away, so it's not that far away. It's not that far away. And if 4FC is able to take this tier 2 tower on the bottom lane, then they'll be looking great. But then again, no Tidehunter, we've got double damage on Loader. Mid tower doesn't really stand a chance.
Yeah, this is going to be, once again, another trade for 4FC, which I think works slightly in their favor, as long as they can get this tier 2 tower much slower with just the Kunkka there. And I don't think no Tidehunter yet. They've got Nature's Prophet down bottom lane. They're not going to be able to get that tier 2.
Yeah, TPs are coming back. They know the one hero went down towards that bottom lane. Nature's Prophet is out. So if they can find one hero out of position, get one lucky entangle, there's already the bear swiping out. If that first hit entangled, Envy, it would have been a straight initiation from 4FC, but didn't hit. They're still looking for that moment. Loader wants to stay here, and you just see him going straight through that. There's your X-Mark spot. Chain off on Torrent. He war cries. No chain, no engagement.
They're not going to go in Sven here. They're maybe just trying to bait out a BKB, bait out some aggression from no Tidehunter. But 4FC, they just want to sit back. They want to buy out time. Aegis is not going to be up for much longer. You're looking about maybe 30 seconds to a minute longer on this Aegis. And if no Tidehunter can't find a fight in that time, suddenly the fight breaks out. Sven only has a 5-second BKB, doesn't actually have an Aegis up, and 4FC could easily come out on top of that fight.
And no Tide really thinking what I'm thinking they're going to do, and that's pushing through bottom lane. There's a Sentry Wall from the Radiant side watching for this. Warcry, they are going to run in and then instantly be spotted. Now they can be seen. They drop their own ward down, blink up, and Krilly, he's running away, and a missed skewer there by S4. There is still, however, the reverse polarity, but Node's winding up for the Omen. Everyone caught in. Loda's got himself a double kill. Ship it perfectly from Strangby, then returns with his own double kill with that cleave out. However, Loda chasing down the SF. It's the damage versus the damage, and so many towers hit on him. There goes the Aegis, the Immortal, putting him on the sidelines, and Kunkka goes Invis, Shadowblade, of course, hiding out.
Well, not the worst fight for 4FC. They hold their Raxes. That was with an Aegis on Loader. They did get rid of it. It would have expired regardless, and now we see a BKB up on Letrak.
Cheese went too during that fight.
Yeah, Mag immediately popped out. Kunkka hit some big crits there, I believe. Not to mention the combo from 4FC, the Shadow Fiend ultimate, completely, perfectly timed with that Kunkka Torrent boat. The 40-second boat not really coming into play there, but if the fight goes longer, if no Tidehunter have a slightly better off positioning there, then that second boat could have been a big win for Kunkka. Kunkka's got? We're looking at double dataless. He's got a second Crystallis. He's going all out with this crit. It does have diminishing returns, but hey, why the hell not?
Just go for it, man. Just go for it. You see a creep wave that was of that magnitude on the bottom lane, and instantly, extra cash. Extra cash. And when the double dataless hits, and you manage to make sure you get that crit, it's absolutely magical. We saw it just happen in that middle lane. Crit flies out. All of a sudden, where's Letrak? Where's Prophet? They can't survive in that. Even with Meg, you never get it off in time because you're dead from the first hit. You just don't have the life. 1700 is getting a little bit better, and now Nature's Prophet, in fact, is going to go damage dealing too.
Yeah,
we're seeing Demon Edge is out from him. Aki has a BKB at least, so that's going to help him a little, but
not against those big crits, but it will help him. I mean, against the setup, the Torrent, the boat is causing a lot of problems, and that's really what sets up the crit. They lead with the Torrent boat, giving Kunkka the space to run into the fight without getting disabled. So having the BKB will help, but if he does get in place for a crit, and if he does get the luck with it, it's a big win for him.
There goes Barry. Going to go down the top lane, and obviously you can't resummon, can't do anything like that. He's out without the bear now for 75 seconds. So no Radiance, but he has the Assault Cuirass on himself, so he split his items out, so he's able to be aggressive on that top lane, and that gives more space in the bottom lane. But Bear on cooldown might actually be an opening. That's if they know.
Yeah, it doesn't look like no Tidehunter want to make anything happen during this time. They've just grooved up, farming their own neutrals here. And similarly, over on the 4FC side, they're looking to get that next level items up. Shadow Fiend, despite the fantastic start, has slowed down a bit. He's got his Eagle Song, so we're looking at Butterfly coming his way fairly soon, but he needs to be careful. He hasn't had the openings to get any more Aegises. It's going to be no Tidehunter getting the presumably the next Roshan with that dire advantage, and that's something Shadow Fiend would love to contest, love to get in his own hands so we can have a much greater impact in these next couple clashes.
Well, there's no reason why he can't contest it. When you look at no Tidehunter, like what you've got that goes through BKB?
Wow.
What is going to stop him if no Tidehunter goes in?
The double reverse polarity is just, I mean, to me, just you could use it just for a solo kill in the Shadow Feed. If you're guaranteed to kill him, it's well worth it. That's a major source of damage for 4FC. And then you've got a second one. So the next few heroes come in, you can use that next ultimate to make sure of it. Problem is now, Mag will have slightly more mana problems because he doesn't have the cheese to back this up. He's got the Arcane Boots, which you can use twice. He's got a Magic Wand, but he will be slightly more starved.
It's going to mean he needs to have full mana pool, and he's got to pop the Arcane Boots while popping the combo.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy task to do.
It's going to make it much more difficult for him, and it's for 4FC, that's a good sign for them. They've got at least a couple minutes before the next Roshan spawn. They're going to me, they need to try and contest this. If they don't, they're still okay. They can sit back, use that defender's advantage, but if they can contest it, at least punish no Tidehunter, find a couple kills, find a pick-off, even take the Roshan for themselves with a well-placed team fight, they're going to be really well off. And that next Roshan fight, if they win it, they could go on to win. That could be them winning the game. If no Tidehunter get it, it's less of a big impact.
I like this play from them, but they've got to get that bear from Lone Druid back here right now because Loader's coming down. The question is, do they want to initiate? Because all of no Tidehunter are here as well. And 4FC's going to expect that. Everybody's missing. There's already the X-Mark spot into Torrent. Admiral Bulldog, Loader gives him a bit of a war cry. Just saying, hello, I'm here. And we've got 5v5, and it's expected to be no Tidehunter going in. They're looking, they miss it. There's the first then hit, but a big run out again. Maybe it'll be enough for the 4-star. Sven's done, he does go down. Eternal Envy with that last bit of decay, and now the bear caught out of position, able to Quelling Blade itself back out of there. Now the Sentry Ward's been dropped down. They're looking for that Kunkka. They want to know where he is. Fake SF on that bottom lane. They're not going to waste anything on him, but they're still searching for Crilly, who also gets a haste screen. So Lucky Devil running out of their Prophet. Maybe they're thinking about Roshan. Rubik's on the sidelines, 4v5.
Well, Nature's Prophet has found the Lone Druid here. No real damage or lockdown for him. Crilly chews his way through those trees here. He's got Tangos. I love Crilly. His late game, he gets both Quelling Blade on his Spirit Bear as well as having Tangos on his main hero just to help deal with those sprouts.
Yep. Here we're going to go for Roshan. Almost down half life, and 4FC, they don't want to contest, and they won't.
Yeah, 4FC, you're going to have to give this one up. That's Cheese and Aegis once again. We'll see Mag probably want to take that Cheese just to solve some of those mana problems, and no Tidehunter will want to up the heat. 4FC, you're going to have to keep on trying to play this split push style. They've got these strong pushing solos. They've got this really good late game carries, but their team fight is just slightly lacking. The double refresher ulti coming up from Magnus, and then combine that with the lockdown. You've got Sheepstick up on Nature's Prophet. You've just got a lot of disables and a lot of DPS. Sven now has picked up a Heart of Taras. This late game item for no Tidehunter is getting pretty scary.
Yeah, this is now sitting at the point where unless SF's given all the space in the world, unless the combo works perfectly, unless they get a great entangled route, forcing no Tidehunter into a position where they don't want to fight so they can save a hero like Sven, it's just not going to be possible for 4FC to take it. Everything's kind of got to go their way. Kunkka gets the right time for a crit. Wondering too if he's even going to stop this. Does he keep on trying to build up towards his Daedalus? Does he say this is the right item choice? Or does he try something else? We've still got item slots. Leave that last Crystallis there. Yeah. Get rid of that Ring of Basilius and get something else. Yeah, get something that allows you to stand during these engagements.
Even just something like a Plate Mail to negate some of that physical damage coming out of the Sven. Just he needs some raw armor. He needs maybe some survivability. Even the late game Ghost Scepter, if it could save your life, sure you want to be doing off those big crits, but if you're getting focused down, if you're going to go down instantly, having a Ghost Scepter could help keep your life. But no Tidehunter, they're the ones now just looking to get some map control. I'm surprised they haven't got a gem here. They need it both for the Shadow Blade on the Kunkka as well as just getting up that map control, dewarding the map. Because 4FC, they've got great vision around they're defensively near the top rune. They've got really good vision of whatever no Tidehunter are doing. So it's making it a lot easier for them to choose their battles.
Watching this middle lane now, no Tidehunter, everyone's here, apart from Nature's Prophet, who can always just TP in, so he's always there, really. It's the beauty of Nature's Prophet. But their full buyout coming out from the SF. This is a big play for 4FC to really go with. He bought the entire Butterfly, has nothing left. So if this engagement doesn't work for 4FC, they don't have buybacks, they will lose racks.
Yeah, I think at this point he needed it, just to give him that additional burst to his damage, not to mention the survivability against this Sven. He's going to say, well, if I don't think having that buyback is going to matter. If they lose a fight, they're going to lose 4 or 5 heroes. If SF buys back, he can't really contribute much to the team fight. So he decides, get this next big item, that's going to help out more. And no Tidehunter, even though they maybe see him buy that up, they're going to go back to farming themselves. They're going to look to take this ultra late game, which is where they can actually do okay. They haven't got the better late game carries on paper, but when you get heroes like Nature's Prophet getting big DPS items, he's got an MKB, not to mention Mag can go for another DPS item of his own, maybe even just go for something like a Heart to tank up. The late game for no Tidehunter isn't too shabby.
Yeah, and they definitely got the advantage. Just checked out the graphs just then, and Everything is going their way, 7.5 to about 10k between the gold and the experience. Things are just looking great for them, and Loda's finding his kind of stride now, having that Aegis and the amount of damage that he does. He's walked up to so many different creep waves and just crits it every single time. That's the beauty about Sven. You're always going to get that because you've got the cleave, you've got the amount of damage, and then you look at Kunkka, it's like, well, you've got a one-off chance to get it.
Yeah.
That's a big chance if you get it, but if you don't,
absolutely, and you want to be getting on that Shadow Blade hit as well, get that bonus damage as well onto that cleave, and it's very all or nothing. And once again, no Titan are just going to go straight down this bottom lane, or at least reveal themselves there. They're not worried about 4FC knowing what's coming their way. They're really confident with this Aegis.
They want to go. There goes the creep wave instantly, and then through the towers, Lone Druid Bear will take out the aggro. But as if no Titan is able to rotate in fast enough, Feybolt through, and there's a Kunkka little swipe out. Tidebringer a pretty low cooldown, so no real issue for that. And Fortification can slow it down. The second they see that Gold Strength come out from Loda, they've got to pop that Fortification. Quick Torrent, Loda's baited it out a little bit. But there's no real commitment from No Titan. They just come in, they snipe a couple of buildings. They're looking for 4FC to get out of position. Yeah,
and No Titan are also waiting. They're slowly pushing out this top lane a bit. Nature's Prophet was actually TP's back to his own neutral, so No Titan are really just sort of faking a push here. They're not really going all in now. Nature's Prophet TP on cooldown for another 10-15 seconds, and it's just really making 4FC scared, making 4FC stay in their base, not farming. They can't farm the buyback on Shadow Fiend. They can't get that next level of items if no Tidehunter are knocking at their doors. Even if it's only with 2 or 3 heroes, the Sven on the front lines cannot be killed. He's got the Aegis, and 4FC don't dare go in on him. Even if Nature's Prophet's off farming somewhere else, even if there's only 2 or 3 heroes revealed, they're not going to go in Loda.
Yeah, the second they do as well. Nice Torrent, no Entangle to follow through, and that Bear cops a lot of damage. There is a resummon Loda. He's actually going to lose his Aegis the Immortal if he's not too careful. In comes Sven, a lot of damage already, but Loda, 200, 160, and Aegis will pop. So Aegis is already gone. Torrent can happen. He starts to prep it. In comes S4, thinks about running in. Loda's set up and towards the air. Envy, a lot of damage being done to him. Ghost Scepter will help him out. Fortification is still there for the range side. They're not popping it off. There's the stun out in the Bear. Fortification will now go, and in comes Kunkka. Big splash damage. Bulldog down to 200 life points. In comes the Sven stun, stolen out there, and then he also pop that Feybolt through, remove the damage. Envy trying to Soul Rip to live through this. The Bear is forcing him back, and maybe they were thinking about going on that one. They almost bring down the melee racks, but not possible in the end.
What a fantastic defense from 4FC. Kunkka, what he was doing that fight, he would X himself, then run in, hope for a cleave, and he couldn't go down. They can't chain stun him down or burst him down because the X brings him back to the safety of his tier 4 tower. So really smart play. Not using it twice in that one team fight, got those big cleaves off, and well, no Tidehunter, they don't get the push, they get the tier 3 towers, but they don't actually get themselves a set of Raxes, and they're forced back. They're going to have to wait out the next Roshan spawn, I feel, and that's a 4 minutes when 4FC can have a lot more freedom around the map. Sven has to be careful, even with this heart. He's got a 5-second BKB. They've got the Purge from the Shadow Demon to help go through the BKB, slow him down, make him easy to kill, and the DPS to follow it up with the Kunkka, the Shadow Fiend, as well as the Lone Druid. This is not over. 4FC is still fighting.
Yeah, I love this also from 4FC. They realize not the best map control when it comes to bottom lane. Their middle lane's always going to give momentum, but they've also got to make sure No Titan doesn't know where they're going. If they're going to smoke it, they're going to go out, they've got to get rid of it. So they're walking around with gems. They're always going to know what is happening. Everywhere on the map, they want to know it. They want to make No Titan completely blind, and that's when they find their openings. That's when they bring down the big heroes. Where's that Lone Druid Bear right now? Because I'm wondering, okay, it's on bottom lane. It's trying to hold that bottom lane out.
Yeah, and that's meanwhile Wildflower of Fear going for a big smoke gank here. They want to find some pickoffs. They know this is their time to strike. No Roshan for quite some time. And if they get a pickoff here, they can maybe try to turn that into something bigger.
Bulldog is definitely it. Loader is here, but they'll want to see if they can just destroy Bulldog instantly. Maybe as possible. But there's support right next to it. S4's right here, and they walk straight through them. Loader already BKB'd up and Entangle straight away. There's already a skewer pulling in 2. Then the 3 in the reverse polarity. X my spot pulls Bulldog back out of this, and maybe Shadow Fiend going to go down. It's already too hard for Kunkka. Krully will take a fall. He's being hunted down by Loader. One last right click, gets it as well. And looks like SF was brought down by S4, and this is going to be the push to end all pushes.
Disaster ensues. None of those heroes having buyback at this point. Kunkka, I think the one hero no, Kunkka, yeah, there we go, uses his buyback. Shadow Fiend, Lone Druid, neither hero with buyback, and no Titan just going to march down towards that middle lane. This is the power of the Magnus come late game. He's popped his refresher, he's got another ultimate up, so if Kunkka tries going in here, they can use that ultimate to try and get him. 4FC are on their last breath here. They have got very little left in the tank.
Yeah, nice ship flying through, but it's not going to be enough strain. He really caught 2 of them lined up, double kill for Loader. And this will be not only middle racks, but this will be more. This is also probably going to be a GG call out after they start moving into the second.
Yeah, 4FC, I mean, to me, it looks like no Titan. They're going to go for the Mega Creeps here. They could just go for the throne. 4FC call GG. What a hell of a game here. No Tidehunter really pushed the limit. They fell behind early in terms of farm. The 3 carry heroes from 4FC all had a fantastic start, but the late game decision making, the team fights coming out, some great ultimates coming out from S4 on that Magnus. 4FC came so close, but the experience, the veteranship, the decision making from no Tidehunter was just slightly too good.
Yeah, 4FC, you've still got to say, happy with their performance. It's another one of these like 3D Max kind of things where you've got to be happy you did that up against no Tidehunter. We were thinking that maybe they could do a little bit more, but just some of those decisions, mainly the two of them. That last one loses the end of the entire engagement, but they were playing well, their combinations were working. You couldn't really 100% fault their draft, but no Tidehunter, they knew their time to strike. They found their places to strike as well, and that's where F4FC, they just couldn't deal with it. Didn't have the experience, they couldn't make the decisions, and at the end of the day, no Tidehunter, as most people would expect, they do get themselves through.